This is the homework hints for the National 5 Homework 20. In the first question, we're asked to simplify the square root of 75 plus 2 square root of 50. Now, to tackle this question, we need to simplify the square root of 75 and the square root of 50 by picking out the highest square factors. So, the square root of 75, start listing the factors. 1 and 75, 2 doesn't go in it, 3 and 25. So 25 would be your highest square factor, and we can rewrite that as square root of 25 square root of 3. Now I'll let you do 2 root 50. Now the 2 is just going to stay at the front of the end. What that means is it means 2 times root 50. So you need to simplify the square root of 50 and then times your answer by 2. So I'll let you finish the square root of 25 root 3. To simplify that, just say what is the square root of 25, and there's your answer. In the second question, you asked to remove the brackets and simplify. You've got x plus 2 in the first bracket and 2x squared minus x minus 3 in the second bracket. Now we can't use FOIL here because there's 3 terms in the second bracket. So what we do is we multiply everything in the second bracket by the first term in the first bracket. So we times 2x squared by x, which would give you 2x cubed. You'll times minus x by x and minus 3 by x, and that will give you 3 terms. We then need to look at the second term inside that bracket is plus 2, and we'll times all 3 terms in the second bracket by plus 2. So 2 times 2x squared would give you plus 4x squared, and then you'll do 2 times minus x, 2 times minus 3, and that will give you another 3 terms on the right hand side. So when you multiply out the bracket, you'll have 6 terms, and then to get your final answer, you'll just collect like terms. In question 3, you're asked to calculate 3 and 5 6 plus 2.5. The first thing you need to do is turn it top heavy. So to turn it top heavy, we take the denominator, which is 6, times it by 3, then add it to your numerator. So 6 times 3 is 18, add 5 is 23. So it gives us 23 over 6. If I do the same for 2.5, 2 times 2 is 4, add 1 is 5, so it's 5 over 2. Now to add fractions, you're looking to get the lowest common denominator. Now the first number that appears in the 2 and the 6 times table is 6. So all we need to do here is multiply the top and the bottom of the second fraction by 3. And on the next line that will give you 23 plus something all over 6. And then you can simplify from there. In question 4a, we're asked to factorise the expression x squared minus 3x plus 2. Now we've got a trinomial, so it's going to give me 2 brackets. Now to factorise this expression, you'll need your table. So we're going to have 2 x's at the top because that's our only coefficients of our only factors of x squared, and then it's your factors of 2 that go in the table. So the plus sign at the start of the 2 tells us that we're going to have 2 brackets with the same sign, and I'll let you decide what goes inside the brackets. Now for part B, you're going to have to factorise the top line as well. So you've got x squared minus 4. It's not a trinomial. Is there a common factor? No. So it's a difference of 2 squares, which also has 2 brackets. And then for the denominator, you're going to use your answer from part A, and then if you have a common term on the top and bottom line, you're going to simplify. In question 5, you're told that you've got the vectors A, which is 2, 4, 1, and B, minus 1, 2, minus 2, and we're looking to find 2A plus B. Now the 2 at the front of the A means we have to multiply the x, y and z components inside your vector by 2, and then we're adding b. So when we're adding vectors, we add our x's, we add our y's, and we add our z's. For part 2, we're looking to find the magnitude of the vector 2a plus b. So to find the magnitude, when you get your answer from part A, you'll square the x term, square the y term, square the z term, add them all together and take the square root. In question 6, we're asked to calculate the area of the triangle. Now what we have is two sides and an angle, so we're going to need to use the formula that area equals a half AB sine C. And we have all the information from the diagram that we need to complete this question. So it's just a case of subbing in your values. On question 7, two runners are setting off from the point P. One runner runs on a bearing of 60 degrees for 1.5 kilometres and the other runs 2 kilometres east. Now east is a special bearing. It means that the second runner has set off on a bearing of 0 to 90 degrees. So to calculate the green dotted line is what we're looking to do. We're trying to figure out how far apart these runners are. We'll call that x. We need to figure out this angle inside the triangle. Now, if we know the first runner is running a bearing of 60 degrees and the second runner's running due east, which is 90 degrees, it must mean the angle inside the triangle is 30 degrees. So what we've got now is we've got one angle inside the triangle, we know two sides of the triangle and we're trying to find a third, so it's going to be your cos rule. So it's the cosine rule, a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. And you have all your information from the diagram, so you want to work all the way through to find out what your value of x equals. So that is a. In question 8, we're looking to find the distance between the spotlights. We have a spotlight here and a spotlight here. It spots a plane flying up here. So we're looking to find this side x. Now what we have is we have two sides that we know on the triangle and we've got the angles inside, so we're going to need to use the sine rule. Now before we use the sine rule, we have to calculate that last angle inside our triangle because we need to know the angle opposite the side we're trying to find. So to get this angle, it's 30 plus 50, which is 80. Take that away from 180 and that will give you the blue angle there. We're then going to use our sine rule, and our sine rule is a over sine A is equal to b over sine B, which is equal to c over sine C. So substitute in the sides and angles that you know, cross multiply, calculate x. In question 9, we're told that the height of a bouncy ball reduces by 15% after each bounce, and the initial bounce was 85 centimetres. We're looking to find the height of the sixth bounce. Sorry. Now, if it reduces by 15%, that means that every bounce will be 85% of the last bounce. Now, what we're doing here is we're needing to turn the 85% into a decimal by dividing by 100, and we'll put it in a bracket. Now because it's decreasing at the same rate every bounce, we can put it inside the bracket and then it's to the power of how many bounces times your starting height. So you turn 85% into a decimal, it's to the power of how many bounces times your original start value, which was 85 centimetres for your first bounce. In question 10, we're told that Slim Jim weighs 72 kilos after losing 10% of his body weight. So we're trying to find his weight before the diet. So if he's lost 10%, that means that we know that 90% of his original body weight is 72 kilos. So what we have here is a reverse percentage. We need to find 1% of his original weight, and then times that answer by 100 to find his original weight in kilos. Now remember to put your kilos in, because it's important that we answer with our units. I hope this has helped, and good luck with your homework.